Good day from WA. Hi, this is Julie. Welcome to my channel, and thank you to everyone who's been subscribing and liking and commenting. So here we are. We've got the Christmas edition of the Collage Art Glue Book by Margarete Miller. So I ordered the digital version and I've printed it up and made my own version of book. So here we go. I'm going to give you a flip through, but in this video I'm going to show you how I got to this stage. So I had to make it first and then I'll come back and video the flip through at the beginning. This page is from Home Book and Treasure. I wanted an end page and there wasn't really one that came with the book, so I've got this one, which I think is quite nice and fits in well with her style, so you can't really tell that it's not even part of Margarete's. Anyway, on with Margarete Miller. So I'll be decorating this in the weeks to come, or days to come. It's a daily challenge, not weeks. I'll flip through the pages, but I'm not going to go through every assignment. You know, each page has got a slightly different color scheme, slightly different image, or all different images. So yellows, blues, whites, vintage browns. But you can always add extra colour. You can always collage over the top. You can just leave a little bit of border and get rid of any vintage that you don't want. Like if it's too dark for you, then, you know, cover it over with some pretty Christmas paper. Sorry, I've got glue all over my fingers. I've just literally finished making this book just now, and then went back to the beginning to film the introduction. This one, I love this page, December 23, 24. I love all that writing in the back. When I created my version of the book, I had to match up these pages so they matched up. You can see they don't quite match here. I couldn't get them perfectly to match because otherwise the December went off the page. I actually edited the PDF, and so this video is going to be about how I made this book and how I got these pages to be a double page spread. So I will be explaining all of that in the video. Yeah, you can't just get the digital, print the pages and have a book like this. I did put a fair amount of work into it to get it to go like this. And this is from, did I say the name was? Something Book and Treasures? Home Book and Treasures, was it? Anyway, so that is my version of the book. See, I decided in the end to glue the spine, and I think that was a mistake. I think keeping it loose was a better idea. So I'm going to poke something down there. Okay, so this is the book. I'll be starting on this very soon. Yeah, just the video following is me making this book. So on with the video. Okay, so once you've got your digital version and you print it out, this is how it will sort of come through. You have to choose landscape printing. The first page is kind of portrait, and these are the instructions. So Margarete says to print out 18 pages single-sided on A4 letter size in landscape orientation. And I think she has basically designed it so that even if you print it on A4, which is skinnier, you don't lose anything important. So she hasn't put things close to the edges, because we know that A4 and, you know, letter size paper is different. So these are I haven't printed all the pages because I've just printed these on copy paper, and I've printed my own version, which I'm using to make my own journal. But what I wanted to do was to come on and show you how I think it's meant to be made, and how I'm going to make mine, or I've half made mine. I'm going to finish it with you today. This is how it prints out, and you'd think, well, you know, it seems like it's on the wrong side. That should be on that side, and I was very confused. And then you have December 1st, December 2nd and 3rd, which seems okay, but you can't just print it and fold it and turn it into a book, because once you do that, all your pages are going to be in the wrong order. From what I can see, you can't print it double-sided. It still wouldn't work, because if you print it double-sided and you print page 1 on this side and page 2 on the other side, which you think might work, will work for the first page, but again, once you put the next pages in, they'll still be on the wrong size. Okay, so then I looked at the instructions. So what you do is you fold the pages in half so that both illustrated sides are facing out. Okay, so you fold it so both illustrated sides are facing out. We'll do a couple of pages. So then she says, gather your pages together with the title page on top. Well, let's get a title page. Okay, so the title page. So I couldn't understand this at first. It took me ages to figure out what on earth she meant. Say I folded all the pages, title pages on top, and she said, and you'll notice that the crease edge is to the right. Okay. And then depending on your preferred method of binding, cinch hole, punch with rings, etc. Secure your pages together on the left side. All right, and so then once that's gathered here, or you've got a ring there, you turn it over, you've got this belongs to, welcome to your book. And then you have December 1 and 2 with the colour matching and the double page spread, because Margarete on her video, she tells us that she intended it to be done as a double page spread, so you would probably do 1 and 2 together. She has made most of the pages in the same colour that match. So 1 and 2 is that beige colour, 3 and 4 is that white with kind of yellowish colour. Keep going out of screen. What's wrong with my camera today? It's in the wrong place. It's not in my normal place. Sorry. So 3 and 4 would be like that, and that goes through the book. Each pair mostly has a similar page. So I wanted those to be together as they are in this book. And I didn't want a big gap, and I certainly didn't want rings, because the book that Margarete's sending doesn't have rings. It's bound with staples, so there's no gap. So my first idea was cut these in half and then place the pages where you want them. So you could either put them onto a book that you've already made. So I started to do this. I folded a bunch of paper just in a yellow colour that's slightly vintage. If I find one that's already cut, well, say we're doing December 1st and 2nd, I'd put December 1st in here and December 2nd here, and that's how I would want it to be. However, that works for the first couple of pages, but as you know, once you get through it doesn't fit eventually, and you have to cut things off. And then you also get this gap, which I don't want, and also it won't be on the original book. The original book will look more like that. So I wasn't happy with that idea. But you could do that if you want something simple. Just fold some papers and print them out and cut them in half and glue them on, and fold it over once you've glued them all on, and then cut out your front cover. I don't think I've got a front cover cut. Put that on the front, print out your back cover, and you've got something that's very much like the original book. Okay, but I didn't want to do that either. The next option was, which I did spend a lot of time on, and I couldn't find this book, and I don't know why I couldn't find it before. I could have done it with this book. So you get an altered book, or you get a book that you're going to alter. I don't know, I looked high and low for a suitable book, and for some reason this book did not present itself to me in the bookcase. I even went to about half a dozen op shops looking for a book that was suitable. This actually would have been suitable. I could have done this. So you get your front cover, you cut it in half, and you put that on there, and that's the start of your book. So I could, once I cut that off, I can have that on the front cover, on the inside of the front cover, and this would work quite nice. You can take out pages. This one's a bit thick, of course. It's got way too many pages. So I'd take out all the glossy ones for a start, and then if I was altering this. But you know, it's not too hard to make an altered book. Take some pages out. This one's got signatures. I would take out a lot of pages and leave just like 32 sides, and then you can then just glue. So then I could have just glued these in and have that as my glue book, and I could leave the because this book's kind of old, so it's got that ivory color. I could leave that like that, or I could decorate this with, you know, some borders, some wrapping paper. You could just stencil around the edges. That would have worked quite well. I could have done that. If I'd probably seen this book first, it's probably what I would have done. So what I've come up with is my own version, which I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I've printed out the rest of the pages. However, my version, I've edited it. So I've taken the PDF. When you print it out, it normally prints out like this. Well, that doesn't work for me. So I edited it and I moved this page to that side. I think I got rid of this. I didn't really want that. So that's going to be the cover of my book. And then the same with December 1 and 2. So on Margarete's version, the one that you'll get, it'll be like this, which doesn't work for me because I want 1 and 2 together. What I did was I double clicked on the page 3 or 4, whatever page this is, to separate these two pieces. And then I clicked on this and said copy or cut, I can't remember. So I moved up, well I must have moved 2. So I went to December 2 and I moved it up to December 1. So I moved this one to this side and copied this side and put it here. Now in order to get it, I couldn't drag it, so I had to copy and then click on one, paste, and then drag. So each of these is a JPEG. So I drag this one across here, then I drag this one across here, but I had to paste it onto this page. Anyway, that's how I did it. I put the PDF into Microsoft Word. I double clicked. Well, in the end, I got it a bit easier. I just double clicked, edit, copy, move up, paste, line them up. They line up fairly easily, and then eventually it didn't take too long. But that's what I had to do to create all of the pages to be like this, so they print out as a full page. And then I've got to work out how to get that into a book form, which I have worked out. I did the back already. I showed it to you in my video yesterday, because what I did was I printed it out. I ran out of ink, but I'd already done the first half. But what I did was I glued it to a book, to a music book, and then trimmed the music book down. But I find you don't need to, and it got too bulky, so it didn't really work. So this is the back of the book. I really like how this turned out. I used 160 GSM, so it's quite thick. It's almost like a board book. We're just going to do a few pages now, so I'll show you how I did it. So if I was starting from the beginning, you just get it and fold it in half to the inside. Just make sure it's all nicely lined up. I'll give it a nice crease because it's quite thick paper. I'm going to remove this because I don't want to get dents on it, because I'm using this as my cover. So that's my first page. I want to go like that. Beginning. Right, next page. So we want December 3rd. So I'm going to glue December 3rd to the back of that and fold it. I'm not going to fold it until I've glued it, because I might not be sure where it's going to land. So what I do is get some grease-proof paper so I don't get glue everywhere. Use glue stick on here, and then a little bit of art glitter glue along this edge, just to give it a little bit more. As you're turning the pages, it doesn't want to flick up the. So this is all I do. And it just makes a nice firm base for collaging. I wouldn't do this with 80 GSM paper. I mean, you could try, but I think you're going to get some wrinklage, because you're going to be, because I know as soon as I put art glitter glue on, it's going to wrinkle. You could try just using glue stick and no art glitter glue, but I have found no wrinklage with this. So that's what I want to do to keep it sort of from lifting up. Now I want to make sure that I get it as best as possible, because there's a little bit of wriggle room, but not much, because I'm using art glitter glue. But I have managed a little bit to move it, but I'm going to trim the edges if there's any, you know, overlappings or areas that's not perfect. And now I just take this page and fold it. So wherever it lands up, okay, I mean, you know, I suppose you could fold it first, but I just think it's easier to fold it after, once it's glued in position. Okay, and that's done. So that goes now 1, 2, 3, 4, and you've got this lovely, you know, with no gap in between. I love it. I don't know if I've invented a new way to, this is a no-sew way to make a journal. Is this new? I don't know. I've never seen this done. I invented it for this book because I didn't want to make holes in the sides. And I'm thinking, This also works, you know, when you're printing out a kit and you love the double page, and then you end up with half on one side and half on the other. If you want to make you end up with a whole book full of center spreads. But it would work for all of the digitals if you print just one-sided, like I do. I can't figure out how to do double-sided. It's always upside down, wrong way around, and inside out, all at once. So now I just have to make sure I get this lined up again. Make sure, hopefully I've got the right one in the right order. Just very carefully, lightly place it. And if it's not perfect, if it's a few millimeters out, which it is slightly, it's fine. It's fine. Take away any excess that comes out. And fold. Now, is that, or is that not, a lovely, easy way to make this journal and to make any journal? If you don't want to sew, you can just do this. Now, as I say, I don't know if it's going to work with 80 GSM. I don't like 80 GSM anyway. I find the paper's too thin. If I get just basic copy paper, I tend to get 90, but I prefer 120 in general. And for this book, I wanted to do 160, and I love it. It's just nice and firm, and you know, it's not going to wrinkle when I glue things in. I guess I got used to the heavy-duty pages with my Margarete Miller book, because children's book pages are often quite thick and sturdy. They're not like our, you know, journals we make from copy paper. So I must admit I'm used to that at the moment. Like that, and then the next one. What's today? Today's Monday. Starting on Wednesday. Oh, I'll need to do it Tuesday so I can get it edited and up on for Wednesday. So, alright. So I might pause the camera, and I will continue up to 15. There's a couple more pages to do, and then I'm going to join the two together, and then we're going to make the cover. Alright, so 14, and then this is the bit that I'd already done. I did that bit a lot better than this bit. I was better at, I've got better at doing it since this one. This one's got more edges that aren't perfect, which I'll just trim up with a knife, or I might just ink it. I don't know which yet. Anyway, so now all I need to do is to connect that to that, which normally I would have just left it, you know, and just gone through, because it's easy to do them. It's easy to do it with this when it's a single page. So I've got to put that onto there. And then that will be, you know, I've basically created a signature with no sewing. And then I've got to show you how I intend to get it attached to the cover also without sewing. I mean, you probably could sew it. I'll have a look at that, but I'm going to try and do it by gluing, not by sewing. It's going to be a full no sew journal. And, you know, if this works, how easy is that for people who don't know how to make a journal or don't want to do the sewing part? I mean, the sewing part doesn't bother me. I can do either. But if you don't want to, you don't feel like it, you just feel like, I don't feel like getting my tools out. Okay, let's try to get this very well lined up at the bottom here. Okay, so there's a few little white edges, but they're easy to just trim off with a knife, I'm hoping. All right, so now we have basically our signature. You could probably make it more, see how this half is way better, it's all nice and neat, and this half's not. So yeah, I got better as I went along, and so it's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect. What I'm thinking of doing is gluing the end pages into the book, but I don't want to glue December 1st onto the front cover, so I'm actually going to need another one at the front and another one at the back. Have I planned that? I don't think I have. So my cover's going to be this, but I don't want the rounded look, so I'm going to use that fold as a spine. Looks like it'd be about the right width for this little book. Yeah, I think so. So I need to refold this one the other way. Let's see if we can get it to do that freehand. Let's just mark the fold, I mean, I probably should cut it first, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I've never done this. This is just an idea I had because I really wanted to have it with double page spreads. It's trained. There we go. So that's going to be the front. Yeah, I think that makes a nice cover. And my idea is, when I put another page on, is to just attach that to the page, have a loose spine. Well, I'm hoping it's quite thick. Will that work? All right, now I'm going to have to pause because I have to figure out what I want my front page to be. Okay, so I've gone onto Etsy and picked out some files. There was a special Home Book and Treasure. If you're really quick, I don't know if it's still on, but there's a Black Friday sale, and I got a whole bunch of digital kits from Home Book and Treasure, which I've used their shop before, and yeah, they were only like a couple of dollars, so I was so happy. And I think I'll use this as the front page. This one blew up into A4, you know, without too much drama, because it just lost a little bit of the red flower. Oh, and there's this one, so maybe I'll use these two, because these two didn't. These two I think will work. Let's have this one for the back and this one for the front. So the book is as it was. That's the beginning of it. I'm going to add a page at the front and a page at the back, and then once I've done that, I'm going to see how thick it is and see whether, you know, adding 2 pages might give me the exact right thickness. So I'm going to add the page the wrong way round. Hopefully I can kind of do it. Well, I might have to turn it around to do it because I won't be able to do it. I need to do it the way I was doing it. So I'm going to do it that way, even though it's upside down, so that I can put it on like that. I don't know why, but it just, sometimes you feel like you can do certain things with one hand, and now I can't do it with the other hand. I don't know. Anyway, just going to add the glue. I'm wondering whether I should have put a line of glue, art glitter glue down here. I was worried about making the pages not open properly, but that wouldn't have affected it. So I might put some art glitter glue in the creases and let it dry before I attempt to make it into a journal. So that's going to delay things a little bit longer, because I haven't actually decided to do it till now. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to put this on. What I might do, because this is the cover that's holding everything in place, what if we make sure we at least do it with this? This is going to be holding it to the book. All right, let's put this on as best we can. Almost perfect. Okay, and then we'll fold that. Okay, same with this side. This is the back. So this is going to go here. This page is not as thick. I accidentally had a 120. I thought it was a 160, but it was a 120, so it's not as thick. I ran out of paper, and I thought I could finish the book, but I didn't quite. Oh, actually, yes, I did. But then the first half of the book I had to reprint because I didn't like the way I did it. So I might as well have done the last page with the new paper. It was theoretically the last page I needed to print. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's 120 instead of 160. Good way to check to see. You can see already it's a little bit tiny wrinklier already. It's wanting to curl. But hopefully when I put this 160 on top, this will flatten it out, I'm hoping. Okay, so let's make sure we get it nice and... Good enough. I think I don't know if I want to cut all the edges off or whether I just want to ink around them, because cutting them might make it look even more untidy, and they'll never be the same because they're a bit jagged anyway. I think I might just ink them when I come to it, if it's noticeable. If you can see the white. Alright, so we've got our front and back sort of jacket, or what would you call them, end papers. Okay, it's lovely. So that's how thick it is now. It's like a little book. And then we're going to add stuff inside, so it's going to be interesting to see how it handles gluing things in, because I wanted to use not just paper. Shame I didn't get it straighter. I'm a bit sad about that. Might still do. I might actually cut that off. It's kind of going to bug me if I don't. Let's put it like that and then trim down. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to leave it at that. I took a few shavings off, which were the most obvious. What we could do is do it this way and have an even gap all the way. That's kind of how it's going to be. I'd like to have a reasonable gap around because I like the red. So let's measure that. Look, we're going to make it 1/2 inch so that we can make it easy to measure. Okay, so 1/2 inch here, there, 1/2 inch there. And I have to get this right. I've only got one. I suppose I could go buy another one, but I found this in an op shop and I thought, oh, well, that'll do as a cover. Perfect. Perfect. I don't have to do very much to it. Okay, let's do this side. Measure it a little bit better. Here. Or dreams, I don't know if they're bad. Just makes a little noise when he's sleeping. Like I don't hear him at night. He sleeps outside my bedroom door and sort of won't sleep anywhere else. That goes in there. See, I like the idea of having it bigger. And it won't go all the way around because of the spine, so I'll have to print out 2 of these, which I have, so that I can use. What I'll probably do is have so I was going to use this middle section and double up the spine so that it gives me an extra length, because then I can put some lace or something, some ribbon. I'll cut one piece because I think I want to put the cover on before I put the book in, because then I can work on it flat. So I want to make my take out my spine part of this one. I'll probably need to score it the same as this. No. It's kind of like, okay. I don't know about that. Oh, it wasn't quite straight or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, that's the score. It will make things a little bit tricky because it's got to go round it as well. I want it in the middle, so let's measure that. holds it in place. It's got these pencil marks, we can get rid of those. Didn't quite get it in the right place, so I might have to make new score marks. I was measuring the height, but I've got to check the distance, so we're just going to make a little mark down here for it to, because we could have done it that way in the first place. We'll cover it up with ribbon or something. I suppose I could have done that too, but anyway, we're doing this now. Alright, so that should be right. Now I'm going to glue the rest of it. I'm just making it up, this one up as I go along. Just making it up as I go along. Not really made a journal like this before, but I really like the pages set up, and it would be quite fun to actually make it like a proper book. You know, put the cloth binding, put that across, attach it to the back of the pages, and then do your end pages. It would be like a real book. Okay. I'm not going to bend that just yet. I want to make sure that's stuck down permanently. Just leave that. Now I wonder whether, I didn't ink this, but I wonder whether I should ink this. I think it might look a bit better. A bit of ink on that, and just use a bit of Catch It. There. I'll just ink it all. So if that's going to go there, we've got to decide where we're cutting it. So we want to cut it. It's trickier than I thought, actually. I want to cut it about halfway, close to that seam, but not on the seam. Alright, so keep this one flat. What's good about working with the you know, the printer paper is at least it's not been hand cut yet, so it's square. Oh, I like this mat. Yep, that should be okay. Putting it over there and there. Or do we put that upside down, so that has to go this way? Because if we're going to match up that text, that might look better. So we can glue that on. So with this cover being a bit softer, it's not going to stand up as easily like a book, is it? Because it's not going to be as sturdy. So, you know, it could be that I end up trimming it off if it gets raggy. I haven't thought about putting any other decoration on. I just wanted to get this book made, so, you know, I could have put other decorations on this cover, but it's kind of just going to look like Margarete's book with a red extra bit frill down here, and then we'll probably just have a tie wrap. 50 fingers. So now we're doing this by eye apparently, because I haven't marked where it's supposed to go. A little bit of wrinklage. While it's drying, I'm going to give this just a little bit, not much, just enough to sort of demodernize it. Just do that there. And just run up the edge here with Encourage It. It doesn't have to go all the way down, it only has to go perpendicular. So just give that a little bit of a crease there. Yeah, I'm not going to bone folder it because, you know, I don't want it to have a crease. I just want it to have a fold. Alright, goes this way. Alright, so it might be easier to ink those pages now, you know, with those white edges, than do it when it's in the book. Very lightly. I can always do more when I'm working on it, but I just, yeah, just very lightly did all the pages. Okay, now we're back to this. You know what I'm going to do though? I don't know, I'm a bit worried about the spine. I wonder whether I should just put cheesecloth and glue. And piece. Oh, further, it's going to last me forever. I've got 2 packets of the stuff. It's not straight, but it really does not matter. Apparently it keeps moving. Alright, so what we're going to do, I'm going to put this down. I don't really want to get glue all over my mat. And we'll trim the we'll trim it off at the top when we've finished. So we're going to put art glitter glue. Yeah, I don't think it matters because this is all, these are all glued to each other. So this is not going to stop anything. See how this patch here is beautifully lined up and very nice and neat. That was my better handiwork. Oh, it's okay. Next time I make a journal like this, it'll be much nicer. It'll go really well. This bit here is a bit fat. I don't know what happened here. Whether that's already starting to come apart. Not sure. Because it is only glue sticked, you see. Glue, stuck with glue. Kind of gone in the cracks and kind of gone. Alright. Okay. Now I think the best way would be to I don't know how much I got of the last bit of the video because it kept closing down because it was running out of battery. Got 5% now, so I'm hoping that that's going to keep going up. So I've put this cheesecloth on. I put glue all down here, but I waited for it to dry. I think you must have seen that part. And now I've just positioned it exactly 1/2 inch. So just gonna, it just moved a bit, so I've got to check it again. So as long as it's centered, I'm just tipping it that way in that position, and then we're going to put glue on here. I'm going to put art glitter glue here to attach this cheesecloth, and then some art glitter glue around the edge. Then we're going to tip it up and put it on the back. This is the back of the book. Let's just check. That's the back of the book. It's a little bit fiddly. To be honest, it's almost as fiddly as sewing a signature in. But I couldn't sew this signature in because the signatures weren't the same as normal pages. So this was the only way I could think of to do it. And I like the outcome. I like the fact that each page is a double page spread. I just love it. So I'm willing to spend a bit of time setting it up. It's taking a bit longer than I thought. Hopefully I'll still get this video out in time. Yeah, actually we'll do the glue on here. So we're going to put a bit of glue here to hold that cheesecloth. Oops. Then we're just going to go around the edge. Yep, that'll do. That's what we're doing. It's already dry. Let's put a bit more on. Okay. I wonder if we should do it this way. Oh, no. Okay. Let's just make sure it's in the middle. It's not, it's moved. Okay. And now we're just going to go in here push that in here. See, there's a bit of warpage on this last page, just a little bit. Alright, so I don't really want to, we can do it this way. I don't really want to do the other side just yet, because when you open and close it, it's going to put a bit of pressure on the part where it's attached to the spine. So, to the back cover. Yeah, see how that wants to lift up? So that was why I wasn't going to glue it right to the edge. Yeah, thinking maybe we should glue it. Alright, I'm going to glue it so it doesn't swing underneath. Alright, let's glue. We can glue this part. I wasn't going to, but you know, maybe I wish I didn't glue it. Worst comes to worst, I can take this off and just redo it. So it's not too much of a drama. Let's tip this up and glue that down. Just hold that for a second. And if it comes undone, it'd just be as if it wasn't glued. If it stays glued, then it is glued. I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, now we're going to leave it closed, I think. There's quite a big gap. It's probably too big a gap all the way around, but we can reasonably easily trim that. Okay, so I won't do any decorating. I'm going to do that because all my Christmas stuff is still in the container in the other room. So I will put something down this seam, make it go around the outside, and figure out a tie or a wrap of some sort, and we'll put some Christmas decorations perhaps on this, something pretty on the front, and then we'll look at whether or not we trim that back down. At the moment I'm happy with it. A quick flip through, doesn't open as flat as it did. Well, it does open flat if you keep the spine up, so actually that'll be okay, I'm hoping. Nice and flat. I think once it's dry it'll be fine. I think there are bits of ink from the ink pad. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that helped anyone who was thinking about getting the Margarete Miller digital version of the Christmas glue book. If you've already got it, or you haven't got it yet, or you're thinking about it, hopefully this helped sway you to get the book and encourage you to join in with the Christmas edition vintage glue book from Margarete Miller and have some fun with us. So I'll see you in the next installment. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.